Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I found Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
She's here.
I'm here in spirit.
In spirit. So get ready. You're probably going to get spirited. We're going to have a conversation about Star Wars voice actors going to Parler and Twitter harassing them for doing it.
Right. Because, I mean, a lot of people put stuff out on several different platforms that are out there just because they want to make sure that they have, everywhere they can put it, because they want to make sure they keep their fan base up and they connect with their fan base. That's normal.
Not in 2020. In 2020, it's not normal. You have to follow the right people on the right platform, say the right thing, and like the right tweets, or you're an alt-right Yahtzee, which is what they're literally accusing the Clone Wars voice actor of Obi-Wan to be.
Because he has an account on Parler.
Well, he had to pull it down because it was wrongthink.
Because he had an account on Parler.
Yes.
That doesn't even make sense. A lot of people are on Parler.
This does not make sense. Gina Carano's on Parler. Well, she's problematic too. So here we go. We're going to talk about this. This is coming from Bounding in the Comics. I saw a couple videos about it yesterday. I was trying to follow what was going on. But Clone Wars voice actor James Arnold Taylor, who does Obi-Wan. Okay. He's also Tidus from Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
Right. He has deleted his Parler account after an internet outrage mob took offense to the content he shared on the platform.
What content did he share?
He liked the wrong things.
Well, okay. This is stupid.
So the mob first took notice of Taylor on November 15th when...
Well, by mob, you mean there are a bunch, there's a group of people out there that are going around just stalking everyone.
Yes.
To make sure that they say exactly what that they said. That's called coercion and control. That's how very fascist of them.
Yes. We've been talking about this, and this is what is ultimately going to lead to the implosion of Twitter. Because not
Hollywood.
Yeah, because not only can you find yourself being targeted on Twitter. If you go to another platform like Instagram, they'll actually drag your Instagram post over to Twitter and hold a kangaroo court over there. You try to leave and go to Parler, they tell you you're not allowed to. You have to come over to Twitter and be as miserable on Twitter as
why aren't you allowed to be on Parler?
Because it's an alt-right platform.
But Twitter is an alt-left platform.
Yes, it is. It's quite the shit show. So a user on the infamous Resetera forums, which is basically, you might as well just take Tumblr, Twitter, and Resetera.
I know what it is. It's like it's a shithole that no one cares about.
Right.
Go ahead.
On Resetera opened a new topic featuring a headline accusing Taylor of posting racist and COVID conspiracies on Parler.
Now, what, he posted racist conspiracies?
He did not. I don't think he did. I think he posted what they consider to be.
If he was posting racist stuff on Parler, I can see why they'd be mad. But,
So the opening poster claimed that Taylor was posting some really vile alt-right nonsense and urged that this needs to spread far and wide, and he needs to be fired ASAP from the upcoming Ratchet and Clank game.
Well, it sounds like someone's jealous or something. Yeah, it sounds like it's a stalker.
So,
never said it was a joke, and it should be spread far and wide that it's a shithole, and it should be canceled off the internet.
As evidence of Taylor's supposed alt-right beliefs, Resetera pointed to two posts echoed by the voice actor that is basically a retweet. One professed support for Li Mingyan, the Chinese professor who publicly claimed that the coronavirus was manufactured in a lab, and she's been branded as a source of misinformation.
Well, we've heard that from several places, but
Yeah,
I don't claim to know because I'm not a scientist, but...
Users also took issue with Taylor's American patriotism, pointing to a post in which he described how he paints so many paintings of American flags. How dare he?
Right. You're not allowed to paint American flags because Twitter wants America gone.
This is what he said. This is his alt-right nonsense right here. This is James Arnold Taylor's alt-right nonsense. Because the flag represents the freedom we have in America that is wholly unique to anywhere in the entire world, he wrote, and we only have the freedom because of brave, self-sacrificing, humble, and proud men and women of all colors and all creeds throughout the history of this country, giving themselves no matter the personal cost.
But that's true.
How dare he?
And it was a Veterans Day post.
Yeah.
You know what? If you're going to take issue with people, with our military brothers and sisters and the people in the military that die, so you have the right to say something, then we're going to have words. Because you know what? You wouldn't be allowed to sit on Twitter and you wouldn't be allowed to sit on Resetera and everything else and be able to troll everyone and try to control everyone's opinion if you didn't have freedoms to do so. Which you can thank the people who died so you can have it. And if you don't agree with me, I am going to give you a big fuck you. And my mom will agree with me on that. I don't have to apologize.
So he said, look, I'm extremely saddened to see this absolutely false claim being made about me. Anyone could look at my Parler account and see that I post the same thing here that I post over there.
It doesn't matter that you're putting it there, James. The problem is because you're putting it on there and because they've started this narrative that Parler is alt-right. But the truth of the matter is if Parler's alt-right, Twitter's alt-left. That's the be-all end-all truth. I'm sorry if you don't want to hear it, Twitter, but y'all act like a bunch of alt-left Yahtzees.
It soon became apparent that Taylor's confusion over the situation stemmed from the absolutely hyperbolic accusations being made against him. The voice actor could not understand how his Parler content could be interpreted so negatively and thus assumed that the alt-right and bigoted content was being posted by an imposter account. This is made evidenced by a video message. It's not the post. Again, it's the platform. It's the platform.
It has nothing to do with what you're posting. It's because, and I've seen it on Facebook and everything else. Anybody says about trying out Parler because they don't like Twitter, they're immediately told that it's an alt-right place, and if you go there, you're obviously a racist and a bigot. I've actually seen people tell people that, and then people are like, "Oh, I don't want people to think that of me." So they're basically people that haven't been bullied the way that people on Twitter have been bullied. They're being bullied at Facebook, and it's new to them. This whole "I'm going to accuse you of things that's not true just to bully you." They're not used to that over at Facebook, so they're just like, "Oh, I won't do it then. I don't want people to think I'm bad." I'm like, bitch, please. Twitter's been doing this to us for years. Eventually, you just don't give a shit anymore.
Hamill warned Taylor to beware. Okay, so Mark Hamill jumps in. Mark Hamill said anyone who knows you knows that these accusations are untrue, but he said beware Parler, a self-described pro-free speech website that promises not to fact-check content as Facebook and Twitter increasingly remove or flag viral fake news.
Here's the problem, Mark. I do agree that you have to be careful with stuff being spread around that isn't true. I do 100% agree with his sentiment, and I understand what he's trying to say. The problem, however, is what we're seeing with Twitter and Facebook, as I've seen things come up that people posted and then said, "Oh, fact check, it wasn't true," that I know for a fact was true, because like I had people like, okay, one was like prescriptions. They were saying about prescription drug costs have come down, and they're like, that's fact checked, was not true. I can tell you for a fact it is true, because my mother's medicine went from unaffordable to now she can afford to get it. And that's only been the last year. So the fact that they're saying that's untrue is not true. You don't know who these fact checkers are. They don't tell you who these fact checkers are, just that they're fact checkers assigned by Twitter and Facebook, who've already clearly shown that they have an agenda, at least Twitter to the max. So I get what he's saying. You don't know if these things are checked. It's a problem. There is a rumor being spread. I don't know. I'm not on Parler enough to say, but everybody's saying that if you go there, you're obviously an alt-right person, even though Twitter's by any account alt-left. I don't know. I mean, I get what he's saying, but, and he even said, if anybody knows you, they know it's not true. And that's the problem we run into. People that know you know this shit isn't true, but then you have people that know you and know this shit isn't true that still won't talk to you because they're so afraid of everybody else, which we've run into. Yeah,
oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we lost so many quote-unquote friends in the comic book industry.
People we could help get jobs.
Oh yeah, people we've actually gotten work for that they walked away from us because we were talking about naughty things on YouTube.
Basically, all you know was even before that. You just asked about what's up with Marvel's numbers, and then they all unfollowed you. And you're like, that's what we found out about Comics. We didn't even know what it was. We didn't know it was a thing.
I didn't know it was a thing. Yeah, I just was asking, used to work in comics, worked on Disney Comics, and I was kind of like, man, what the hell is up with Marvel and their sales are tanking? Let's look into this. They're like, don't do that. People might think you're comics.
No, they didn't even tell you that. They just up and stopped following you and didn't tell you why.
Yeah.
Or because you talked to somebody who asked you a question and answered them, and it was somebody on a list that you didn't know, but because you answered the question they asked you, you immediately got blocked because you associated with that person, even though you didn't know there was a problem with that person.
How dare? Well, this is how this starts. Basically, James Arnold Taylor was supposed to know that Parler is a bad place full of bad people. And because he went there, his good friend, his good pal, Hamill himself said, I know you're a good guy, but that Parler, you might want to stay away from that Parler.
Well, that's what they're doing on Facebook.
Yeah.
I know you, so you won't want to go there because people will think you're a bad person if you go there. Literally seen people being told that on Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And meanwhile, Parler, which has actually been around for a couple of years now, has been trying to bring in left-wing people, too. Mm-hmm. But They won't go. I mean, the problem is that everything's so polarized. Twitter is extremely far left, and Parler's got a lot of right-wing people on it. So it's like...
But I'm saying, for everyone who yells at anyone on Twitter who yells about Parler being far right, they can't say anything because Twitter is definitely far left. And all it creates is an echo chamber and more division. It's dumb, and they both... this whole thing, everybody needs to go purple.
Yeah, we need a purple. That's what we should call it, just purple. Purple.
They already have purple mattress. You can't take that.
Oh, we need to have a purple social media platform.
More people got the purple mattress, they might be happier.
Yeah, right. If you get more on the purple mattress, you might chill out a little bit. Everybody needs to get laid on the purple mattress, and then we get the purple social. Anyway, he's like, he thought that people were saying that, he was lying, that he didn't have a Parler account or whatever. And he did. He's like, well, what I'm saying is the stuff you guys are mad about, they're not my posts. And it's like, well, you echoed, meaning you liked certain posts. You retweeted certain posts on Parler. And he said, well, I can't find those there, and to avoid any trouble, I've deleted my account.
You shouldn't have, because they just basically giving them what they want. So basically, these people on Twitter going out to Parler to cause trouble, they literally are coercing and controlling people from having a voice because they don't like it.
Yeah, so this is how this works. Twitter will not let you escape Twitter. Like, even if you go something like, look at Chris Pratt. He hardly posts on Twitter. He goes out to Instagram. He puts something on Instagram. They drag him over from Instagram and they post it on Twitter so they can call him out on Twitter. Twitter
becomes more like a cult every day.
It is a cult. These are the same idiots that were... that made Tumblr toxic. Again, both platforms started out with the best of intention. Both platforms, Tumblr and Twitter, were great at the beginning. And then as toxic people discovered them...
It's not the platform, it's the toxicity on the platform.
Now, people have said, it's so weird, we did that other Twitter video, and there were people in the comments that said, Tumblr is actually great now because all the crazies went to Twitter. They're on Twitter. So James Arnold Taylor says, I can't find those there, and I deleted my account. It wasn't the platform I hoped for anyway. It was all political. And
Twitter's not.
And Twitter's not.
Honestly, I don't want either one because I don't want it to be political all the time. People are tired of it. They don't want this.
Well, that's what we said before, even on Parler. Now, again, we have a Clownfish TV account on both Twitter and Parler, and all they do at this point, because I am not interested in talking to people, all they do at this point is basically just tweet the video links. But I can see Parler possibly becoming just the red version of Twitter.
I mean, objectively speaking, yes.
Objectively speaking.
If we're being fair, of course. That's what I'm saying. If it's alt right, then Twitter's alt left.
But then Twitter is absolutely political too. And said people weren't interested in Star Wars. Anyway, no. It's because your friend Luke Skywalker said you don't want to go there.
I don't even think it was Mark Hamill. I think it was because people were harassing the shit out of him because they literally follow this guy over there. So there's like a group of them who literally look for anybody that they know is associated with something to make sure they check every activity you ever do and are recording it.
Yeah.
That's stalking.
Yeah, well, this is what's going on. They're basically going around finding wrong thinkers and follow. Yeah, you can't escape. They will follow you in every.
Well, I'm going to say right now, people who behave that way are wrong thinkers because they wrongfully think they have a right to control what everybody says and does. They wrongfully think they have a right to stalk people. They wrongfully think they have a right to harass and coerce people. And I'm tired of it. You know what? And what's the kicker is, it's such a tiny group of people. It's ridiculous. They don't speak for the majority of the people. They said these extremists make up a very small percentage of the country, but they make up a large percentage on Twitter.
Yeah. One of the other ones they had a problem with was that they weren't going to watch the NFL anymore because they've gotten, but he did echo it. I mean,
but he's not allowed to have an opinion.
No, but this is where it gets ridiculous. So James Arnold Taylor is not allowed to have an opinion. He's not allowed to go to another platform and have very mild opinions, right? Meanwhile, we've got other Lucasfilm employees on Twitter saying really shitty things, and they're allowed to keep their jobs. They're, in fact,
because it's on Twitter,
encouraged to keep saying shitty things. They're egged on by the mob.
Well, then maybe everybody should start reporting them at Disney and then threaten them that they should be canceled.
Yeah, again, I said before the other day when we were talking about Pedro Pascal and Gina Carano, I'm like, Disney's policy, Lucasfilm's policy needs to be like across the board, guys. if you're representing us, don't get overly political, because you run the risk of alienating people on both sides of the aisle. Just, keep it. You can have opinions, but just don't get crazy with it,
Right.
And mostly,
this is my recommendation for pretty much anyone. Anyway.
Anybody, just get the hell off of it. But this guy, Mandalorian's animation director Hal Hickel calls for a federal mask mandate with penalties. So he was going on about Twitter, and basically he's like, if you don't wear your mask, you should be forced to watch hours of people dying in hospital beds. This guy is a bigwig at Lucasfilm. He's allowed to say this. But James Arnold Taylor can't like this NFL post. He can't
post pictures of the American flag and thank the veterans.
He can't thank the veterans.
That gave that dumbass the right to say this.
So I think what just blows my mind, though, is this guy who's in charge of animation on The Mandalorian can say on his account associated with Lucasfilm, people should be punished by watching other people die as a spokesperson for the company, but...
Disney. So you're a guy out there talking for Disney, a spokesperson for Disney, saying that everybody who doesn't wear a mask should watch other people die.
Yeah, but it's on Twitter, and he's appealing to the Twitter mob.
The last time we saw that kind of behavior was World War II.
Yeah, this is insane. I mean, Twitter's just absolutely insane. I gotta tell you, anybody, any celebrity, I don't care if you're like an e-celebrity, whatever, comic book person, get the hell off of Twitter. Just get off of Twitter. And I'm not even going to tell you about Parler, because Parler might go the same way.
I think Parler might go the same way. The other way, which I also can't condone.
But I would say any place where you can basically get trapped, where people can misunderstand the fact that they're stalking everybody's likes and posts and follows, and this is some serious Yahtzee stuff. Yeah,
it's all about control. You have to control a narrative, control everyone. And anybody who doesn't agree with you needs to be either if they can't get in line, they need to be canceled.
So let's talk about something more fun before we wrap this video up. Baby Yoda went to space.
Yes, he was the 5th member on the crew.
He was the 5th member on the SpaceX crew. There, the little bastard is floating around.
That's right. He has a job, though. He is the zero gravity indicator.
Okay, so
there's a reason why they took him with them.
So they just let him float around.
Kinda, yes.
That's actually kind of funny. Like, what's your job? Just to float. And when Baby Yoda floats, it's safe to get out of your chair.
That's right. They all float up here.
Yeah, zero. Yeah, right. But yeah, you were joking about space camp.
I did. That's what I kept thinking of as Jinx put Max in space. I don't know why, but I kept
Jinx
thinking
put Max in space. So there's some good Star Wars news. You know what's going to kill The Mandalorian? And it's going to kill Lucasfilm is the political divide at this point, because it does seem like there's a definite...
There are people think that they're supposed to police everybody else.
Yeah.
Instead of just their jobs to make content and shut the fuck up. They think that they're supposed to be out there policing everyone.
And look, I'm going to be honest, and again, Parler could go down the shithole too, but
and if it does, then I say stay away from that too.
Right. This is what Twitter does now. Twitter wasn't this way until the last, Twitter
wasn't this way. Everybody from Tumblr went to Twitter. Before that, Tumblr behaved this way.
Yeah, and
so everybody should go to Tumblr.
Let's all go back to Tumblr. Because I guess it's okay over there now. So I don't know, but we're gonna see a lot more of this. It's absolutely insane, absolutely insane. Gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.